Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Sammy here with another video, and in today's video we are talking about my 2023 annual goals and looking at my vision board for the upcoming year. I cannot believe that it is this time of year. It's blowing my mind. December has been a month filled with reflection and really making sure that what I want to do in 2023 is what I want to do in 2023. And I'm so excited to share that with you guys. I've shared this process all month. First, we talked about reflection and how reflecting on our goals can help us kind of pick those things out and what we need for that upcoming year or season in our life. Last week, I talked about my intentions for the year and my word of the year, which is build. And today we are talking about my goals. And so let's go ahead and get into it. Next year, I am using the MakseLife Flagship planner, and I am so excited for this. I will talk more about this as I use it. I have yet to write my name in it, so there's that. But one thing that I love is I bought these little bookmarks that have my vision, which we'll talk about that in a minute, and then monthly goals, and then this week. So I love those bookmarks. But today we are going to talk all about my annual goals, and I'm just going to go through them with all of you, and then we'll look at my vision board, and it's going to be a good time. But I thought it'd be fun to just talk these out with you guys. I was considering doing this on camera, but I don't know. I just like having that time by myself with my planner where I can just do my thing and not have to worry about recording myself. I did make a reel about me making my vision board, so you can check that out on my Instagram, but I'll be talking about that in this video too. But anyway, let's jump into this. So the first section or area of life is personal in the MakseLife system, and with how this works is that this is where you get to write your goals out. You can use this page really however you want. This is how I decided to utilize mine, but the only prompts they really have is what your focus is going to be, and then how will my life improve by reaching these personal goals, or whatever type of goals that it is. So the way I see this is the focus, that is your goal. That is what you're focusing on in that area of life for the year. And then this is kind of like your break it down area, if that makes sense. And so my personal goal for 2023 is to build time for myself. You're going to notice this building theme throughout all of my goals just because that's my word of the year. It is such a great word and it speaks to me in so many ways that I just thought it would make sense to implement it in the wording of each of my goals, because I'm literally building myself back up from where I was a couple years ago. And so it's just really special and sticks out to me. I did highlight the word time because I feel like that is so important to me. I need to build time for myself. And the way I set this up is on the left-hand side, I have between 1 to 3 questions that I'm going to use as kind of like check-ins for the year to kind of help me reel myself back in if I need to for each goal. So my questions for personal are, how can I make my mornings intentional? Because that was one big thing that I wanted for my intentions list. And am I prioritizing my life in line with what makes me happy? And I feel like that is so important for myself because I am the type of person that I want to make everyone else happy. I am a people pleaser. I am a type 2 Enneagram, and my life, I feel like my life's purpose is just to make sure everyone is okay. And I forget to check in with myself and if what I'm doing is actually making me happy. And so that is a very important question. So then on the right-hand side, I've broken this down. So I write whatever area of life it is in this little box, and then I'm breaking it down of what or how can I build time for myself? What is that going to look like? And so the first one is having a realistic AM and PM routine. And I'm going to be talking a lot about this throughout the year of 2023, just to kind of help keep myself accountable. But I have struggled with routines my whole adult life. I have routines, but they aren't the best. And I've tried to make routines, like from what I've seen on YouTube with different people that I follow there. And I get stuck in this trap that I need to do so much because all these other people are doing so much and their lives seem great. And that doesn't work. And so that's why I made sure I wrote down the word realistic. It needs to be realistic to my life. In the morning, I need to wake up earlier. Not that I could. I need to wake up earlier. And so I need to decide a time of how early does that need to be to accomplish everything I need to get done in the morning. And going back to this question, how can I make my mornings intentional? Because I feel like if I can wake up and start out on the right foot, the rest of my day is going to feel a lot better, where right now I'm just feeling very rushed and exhausted. And so definitely want to first focus on the AM routine. PM routines are a little bit more fluid just because I work all day, and so I'm really just trying to get things done when I get home, but I can do so in a more planned out manner instead of just come home, because right now I'm just coming home and sitting on the couch or hanging out with my daughter and not really doing anything productive. And so this is important. And I feel like with this, that leads to my next one, having me time. In those routines, I can schedule that me time and make sure that that's happening. And by that, I am going to be building up my hobbies. I did a painting series this last year, and you'll see one of those pictures in my vision board that I'll get to in a minute. And I want to do that again. I want to paint another picture every month, maybe get a little bit more into it and do more than one painting. I don't know, but I want to keep painting, and I want to read one book a month. That's my goal. This is also a side note, more financial goal, but I am not buying any books this year or in 2023. I have a crap ton of books, and I need to read what I have before I start buying more. So how will my life improve by reaching these personal goals? I will take the needed time for myself to better serve in the other areas of life. I feel like that's important. I can't help others if I am not helping myself first. And that's why I wrote down this quote, "You can't pour from an empty cup." I have to take care of myself. And if you resonate with what I've been saying for the past 6 minutes, you need to take care of yourself too. And so this is probably the one goal I'm really excited about. I'm excited about other ones, but since this is focusing on myself and I've never really done that before, I'm excited. Okay, we're just going to move on now to fun and recreation. That focus is build a year full of memories. My 2 check-in questions are these things I'm doing meaningful? And that really stuck out to me just because I feel like I want our family to do things, but sometimes we're doing it just out of the means of doing it, rather if we really want to do it. And I want to make sure the time that we're using to do fun things is meaningful. If it's worth our time, if we really want to go do it, let's go do it. And if we don't have fun doing it, let's not do it again, type of a thing. I rather schedule and do things that are more purposeful and meaningful than just for the mere fact to stay busy and to do things. And then the next question is, do I have a balance of fun and rest? Once again, back to being meaningful. If we can have a Saturday where we're just hanging out as a family at home and resting and relaxing, I feel like that is a win. And sometimes we can go out and do fun. But the focus is just to build a year full of memories. And so with that, I broke that down. The first one is pretty big, and it's vacations and trips. I have a couple concerts that I'm going to in 2023. And then my husband and I, we want to plan a family vacation for us and our daughter. And now that we have the time and the ability to travel more, we want to plan and visit our family that's not close to us. We have family that lives in another state, and then family that lives in the same state as we are, but they're like 5 hours away. And so we want to just make sure that we're visiting people more and making those connections and having fun with them. And then seasonal bucket lists. I want to sit down with my husband and my daughter and come up with between like 10 and 15 activities, whether they're at home or in town, that we can do every season as a family. And I'm really excited about that. So how will these goals improve my life? I will live more fully and appreciate my life. And so there is that. On to work and learning. My focus is to build myself through learning. And at first, this goal actually was more teacher focused. And then I was like, you know what? I'm more than just a teacher. I am learning more things than how to improve my teaching, because I have this YouTube channel. I'm trying to build a presence in the planning community and do different things that way. And those things are both work and learning. Like, this is taking my time creating content and connecting with people and trying to build that presence through social media, I guess. And so I changed this to focus more on the learning aspect and how can I be better with that. But I made sure that my questions for this section are neutral for both my 9-to-5 like teaching job and then this content creating that I have dove myself into, I guess, this last year. But the questions are, what is one thing I'm doing great at? What is one thing I can improve? And how can I engage more? And all three of those questions, I feel like I can evaluate myself as a teacher with what I'm doing great at, how I can improve in my classroom, and how I can engage more with students, parents, other coworkers, myself, my lessons, whatever. And same thing with planning community. What's one thing I'm doing great at in the planning community, building this up? What's one thing I can improve on, and how can I engage more with people in the planning community? And so for the teaching aspect, I wrote fulfillment in teaching just because I've hit a rough patch. This is my 3rd year as a teacher, and I've already hit a rough patch in teaching. It's a really hard profession. I know I talk about my job a lot on social media just because it's really hard. And honestly, it's not what I was expecting teaching was going to be like when I became a teacher. And I've talked with veteran teachers, like, is this always how it's been? And they've been very open, like, no, it's not. This has been like the last 4 years of education. I'm like, great. So basically, when I decided to be a teacher and jump in, it went this way. But I want to teach. When I really sit down and think about it, or when I'm in my classroom during my prep period and I have time to think, I love what I do. I just need to find that fulfillment. And so with my current classroom, to kind of elaborate with that more, I want to see how I can change that up. Can I change the grade levels I teach next year? How can I engage with my current students? Do I need to move schools? Like, what is that going to look like for me? And then I also I'm not starting a program this year, but I want to restart researching and building a portfolio to start a master's program. Because first off, I can get paid more as a teacher, and that's going to open more job possibilities as a teacher. I can teach college classes at that point. Some college classes I could actually become like an adjunct professor at a university, which would be awesome. And so keeping my options open on teaching. And then with the planning community, I want to build my presence here on YouTube, and I'm looking at, this is a stretch goal, so this is something that's going to take a long time, but I am going through the process of opening a sticker shop to sell my artwork and to make fun stickers. I don't necessarily think I want to make kits per se, but like doodle type fun stickers. And so we'll see how that goes. But I want to try it. I've always wanted to do that, and so we're going to try it. So how will my life improve by reaching these work and learning goals? I will make my skills stronger and stretch myself in new ways, which I think is really important for myself, because I'm the type of person that if I can stay in my comfort zone, I will. Okay, family and relationships. My focus is to build my relationship as a wife and mom. I know that sounds pretty vague, but it is what it is. My questions for that are, what can I do to improve the relationship? So either my relationship with my husband or the relationship with my daughter. One thing that I really want to drive clear this year is being a wife and being a mom are relationships. They are not roles. And I feel like in our society, or in past society, people have viewed women like being wives and moms as like that's their role. Like that's what they're expected to do. And like with those roles comes things like cleaning the house and taking care of the kids and doing basically all the generic 1950s housewife type stuff. And that's not how I view it. I view both being a mom and a wife as a relationship, meaning that we're both giving and taking from that connection that we have with one another, and we need to both put in work for that. Obviously with my daughter, she's 2, so that's more on my end. How can I nurture her and take care of her and love her, show my love to her, and enjoy these years of her being little, because she's just getting so big and I don't want that to fly by and then have her in school and miss her being little. So anyway, there is that. And then what do I need right now in this relationship? I think that's important as well. This is obviously, I feel like, more for my relationship with my husband, because like I said, with my daughter, I'm giving a little bit more into that relationship now that she's younger. And I guess I could still ask myself that question with that relationship, but I really view this question for my husband and I. What do I need from him? How can he help me? Because like I said, this is a two-way street, and I can't just expect him to know. I need to tell him. And so that's why I need to think about that. But anyway, breaking this down, I wrote down mommy engagement, just so I can stay engaged with my daughter. With being a teacher, I've said this before, I get home and I'm exhausted. I've been with kids all day. I'm overstimulated, and I have my little 2-year-old, and I love her so much, but there's some days where I'm just like, no, I can't do this. And I want to be more engaging with her instead of just turning on a TV show while I make dinner and do that with her. So I want to do some more fun at-home activities. I'm brainstorming some ideas with that. It's going to kind of be like Taught School, if you've heard of that, where like there's a theme and we learn about a different thing or do an activity, read a book type thing. It's going to be very simple. We're not doing it every day, but just have those activities available so we can do them throughout the week. And then I want to schedule mommy-daughter dates, even if it's just like going to the park or going to McDonald's and let her play on the little playground because that's her most favorite place right now, or something like that. Or even things at home, like making cookies or painting nails or whatever. And then the other 2 things are with my husband. I want to make sure we're having monthly date nights, and then speak love languages. One thing that I've learned through therapy, and I've always known about the love languages, but one thing that really stuck out to me as I've been going through therapy, and relearning how to connect with people, is making sure that you're doing a daily check-in and like actually checking in with the person, what they need from you in regards to their love language. And so I'm going to do that with my husband. And so how will my life improve by reaching these family and relationships goals? I will be more connected with and to those I love most, which was, I was going through my reflections, like family kept popping up, which obviously it should, if you are in a good relationship with your family. But I want to show them that I love them so much, because my husband is amazing. He's my best friend. And my daughter, she's amazing. And I just want to cherish her, because she deserves that. And so anyway, moving on to health and wellness, my focus is to build a better version of myself. My check-in questions is what is something I can do that will make me feel good? Okay, that's in regards to feeling good physically and feeling good mentally. What am I choosing to make a priority? And what's taking up most of my headspace right now? Those things are super important. This kind of goes back with just time and routine. What am I choosing to make a priority? I need to be better about prioritizing my health, and actually taking care of myself and loving myself in that regard. And so breaking this down, my fitness, or like physical, I guess, health goal is to lose weight. And I am going to do that by drinking water daily, meal plan and prep, and then working out 2 to 3 times a week. I've started out small with these just because I am going from 0 and I don't want to go from 0 to 100. We're going to make small progress, and I feel like that's reasonable. And then just with my mental health, I want to have a mental declutter. With being so anxious and stressed out all the time, I just feel like my mind is always cluttered with things. And so I'm going to continue going to therapy. I feel like going has really helped me just talk what I'm thinking out. And I've been learning so many different tools with therapy. If you've never been to therapy, I feel like everyone needs to go to at least 2 to 3, maybe 4 sessions of therapy just to get help and tools, because we all feel stressed out, and sometimes we think that we're fine, but we're really not. So definitely recommend that. And then just to journal as needed. I've learned through therapy that when I am feeling so overwhelmed, when I get out a notebook and I just write down everything that I'm feeling, I remove it from my head so I don't start physically getting sick and overwhelmed, and I just put it on paper, and I don't even read over what I'm writing. It's just in this notebook, and that's where it's gonna live. And so that just helps me declutter my mind. So how will my life improve by reaching these health and wellness goals? I will feel better about myself and have more confidence in who I am and my choices, which is big. Confidence, if you saw my last video about my intentions for 2023, confidence is one of those things I want to cultivate. And part of that is being confident in what I choose to do. I've always been that type of person, going back to the people pleasing, where I'm scared to make choices for myself because I want to make other people happy, and I need to stop doing that. And so I want to be confident in what I choose to do for myself and whatnot. So moving on to spiritual and personal growth. I just really view this as spiritual growth just because there's already a personal section. But my focus is to build my relationship with God. My relationship with God has has not been the best, honestly. And I need that sense of religious community, I guess, and whatnot. I was raised in a religious household, and I continue practicing that religion now that I'm an adult, but I've kind of been a little lazy, I guess is the best way to say, with practicing the last few years, especially when COVID hit. And so I need to be better. really need this in my life. And so some of my questions I have are, does the environment I surround myself with add value to my life? And how can I serve or draw closer to God? And so breaking this down, the biggest thing that I want to work on this year with spiritual growth is to get my temple regimen back. This is a very vulnerable conversation, by the way. But in my church, we do have temple regimen, so we can go to the temple. And as of right now, 2 of the things that I need to be working on is attending church and making sure that I'm doing that weekly, and making sure that I am paying my tithing. I've not been the best with that just because finances have been rough the past couple years. And so paying my bills has always felt like more of a priority than giving that 10% to God. And so I need to be better about that. And I know that if I am putting God first, then I'm going to be fine. I just need to have that faith. And then once I get my temple regimen back, my husband and I would like to go to the temple monthly. This is actually something that we're working on together, is getting our temple regimens back so we can go to the temple monthly. And then I just want to invest in spiritual growth daily by like saying my prayers, reading scriptures, and then having that family time where we're connecting with the gospel in our home. And so how will my life improve by reaching these spiritual and personal growth goals? I will feel more at peace in all the areas of my life. I really do believe that when God is in your life and you have that sense of spirituality, that you're going to be at peace and you don't need to worry about the little things like finances or, I don't know, like relationships with your family, just because I feel like all that stuff will be in place. So you still obviously have to work at things and do your part in those areas of life, but I feel like it's just it comes a lot easier when you have God in your life. And I know that's a personal preference or a personal belief, but like I said, a little vulnerable minute right there. But that is my spiritual growth focus and goal for the year. And then on to financial. I want to build a healthy relationship with money. So my check-in question is, am I being intentional on the things that I buy? I feel like a lot of the time I am not, and I haven't been, mostly because of Amazon. That is like my biggest downfall, I guess, of spending, is I will be on YouTube watching a video or doing something. I'm like, oh, I want that, or oh, I think that looks cool, I need that, and I'll just look it up on Amazon. It's $20, whatever, and I buy it, and it's there in like 1 to 2 days, and I don't really think about what I'm buying, and then I'm literally just creating more clutter in my life because I don't really need it, and I just wanted it in that moment. It's like that instant gratification type thing. And so I want to be more intentional with the things that I buy. So to break this up, I am going to be doing this with my husband, just creating a monthly budget. We've both had this conversation about just not being intentional with our spendings. So we're going to do that together and have weekly check-ins. I'm going to create a savings fund and make sure I'm saving at least $100 a month. To fight this urge spending, we are both going to be creating a want list, and instead of buying those things, we're going to put them on our want list, and we're going to evaluate that at the end of each month, and if we really want it still, we're going to keep it on the list, and if we don't, we're going to delete it. And then that want list will be shared with both my husband and I, both of our lists, and then that will be used to help us know what we can buy each other for like our birthdays or for Christmas or things like that. And that way we're still getting the things that we want, but they're a little bit more special because they're going to be gifts or just things like that. Along with that, and I know I briefly talked about this at the beginning, but I want to do a year-long no spend where I'm not buying books or clothes or planning supplies like random. Like, I just feel like those are the 3 categories of things that I'm just always buying, and I don't necessarily need them. And so I'm going to add it to the want list, or I'm going to budget for it. And my husband and I talked about either between $50 or $100 a month for wants. And you can either spend all of it every month, or you can save it if you know you want something else that's going to come up. For example, with like the Chrissy Ann Designs collection, her celebration collection, I know that comes out between December and January every year. And so it would be wise in October and November not to spend that money, so I can save up and purchase that in either December or January, so I can have that. Or I can add it to a Christmas list and have it be like a Christmas present item. So that's what we're gonna do. I want to get out of that habit of just buying things and whatnot. And so that is kind of my no spend rules, and we're gonna see how it goes. But how will my life improve by reaching these financial goals? I will appreciate what I do have more and will have financial security now and in the future. And so that's one of the biggest things. One thing I forgot to mention is that we are looking into financial planning. My husband has a friend who just got into that line of work, and he actually talked to us a couple weeks ago about financial planning and being our financial advisor. And so after the holidays and whatnot, we're going to plan with meeting with him again just to look at what that could look like for us. And lastly, last yearly goal for physical environment, my focus is to build a space we love. Excuse me. And my check-in goal is how can I positively impact the energy in our home, which I just love that. And just breaking this down, I want to declutter our home. We're going to schedule trips to donate items that we don't need anymore. And I'm also wanting to schedule to declutter 1 to 2 rooms every Saturday. And that's kind of what this is referring to here in either Q1 or Q2, most likely Q1. We're going to schedule 1 to 2 rooms a Saturday to declutter and then take that stuff to Goodwill or the DI or wherever. I'm also wanting to implement cleaning routines daily and weekly. And then in our current home, we do want to be more like festive and have some seasonal decor in our like living room and kitchen area. And then in our yard, we want to get grass because our current grass, most of it is dead because of this drought that we've been having. And it's just like infested with weeds and it's just gross. It's not healthy. And so we just want to dig it all up and start fresh. And then lastly, my husband and I, we've lived in our house since we've been married, so for 6 years. And we have been talking about moving by the end of 2023. And so I have a question mark and an exclamation mark because I really want to move and have that fresh start, but we aren't sure yet. Our goal is to get the house to a point where we could put it on the market by summer and then hopefully be out of our house by the end of the year. There's just a lot that goes into that. We've been in this house forever. It's old and we want something a little bit newer in a safer area. And I actually currently work in the school boundaries of the school I teach at, and that has been very hard on me with having students know where I live, parents know where I live, and just my safety overall as a teacher. And so we really want to find somewhere where it's still in the same school district that I'm working in, but not in the same school boundary as the school that I work in. And so just some things that we're looking at there. And so yeah, anyway, So how will my life improve by reaching these physical environment goals? I will enjoy my home more and use all of my living space. So now I quickly want to show you. I know this video is probably like forever long, and I'm sorry, but I wanted to show you my vision board for this year just because I really feel like this is an important process in goal setting. And so actually I'll reopen it. So I actually did this on Erin Condren notebook paper, and then I just put some like adhesive stuff on it, the Tombow permanent adhesive, and then I just stuck it in this page where this is where you're supposed to put your vision board for the year. I did it on this paper just because it had dot grid, so I was able to like draw boxes and kind of line things up a little bit better. Where the actual vision board that MakseLife has in here is just blank. But I don't mind the dots in the background, and so I feel like this looks fine. But in the middle, I did put my word of the year, which is a build, and then I put this little phrase. It's not an actual definition, but it's my definition, and it says, to make myself stronger and more intense, to cause something to happen because of my actions. And that's my focus, is I am building myself up. I am doing the things I need to do to make my life and myself better. And so I have all of the goals that we just talked about throughout. And then I use stickers and pictures. I printed the pictures out with my Polaroid zip. And so here is like my personal goal. That right here, this little picture of the kitty, that was part of my painting series for this year. And I also added a quote in that color for each goal that represents that goal. So for personal, I wrote, you can't pour from an empty cup. For fun and recreation, collect moments, not things. For work and learning, never stop learning because life never stops teaching. For relationships, I put stop rushing relationship, start by building strong foundations. For wellness and health, I wrote the comeback is always stronger than the setback. For spiritual growth, I wrote choose to focus on those things that will fill your soul with hope. With financial, I wrote it's not your salary that makes you rich, it's your spending habits. And then for physical environment, I have put your house in order. Putting your house in order is the magic that creates a vibrant and happy life. And so I made sure to add a mixture of pictures that are my personal pictures, and then just some pictures to represent things. I use stickers, like I said, and my Moxie markers. These things are the absolute best. And I just love how this turned out. It makes me super happy just to look at my vision for this upcoming year. And so that is all that I have for you guys today. Let me know down in the comments, what are your goals for 2023? What do you want to accomplish in this year ahead? Let me know down in the comments so we can cheer each other on throughout the year. I will be doing monthly goal check-ins and talking about what I want to focus on for each month pertaining to my goals. And that way we can talk about things. I can have accountability here on YouTube and just celebrate those little wins as they come. And so that is all that I have for you guys today. Like I said, share those goals down in the comments. Don't forget to like this video if you found it helpful. And don't forget to subscribe if you are new here to my channel so you don't miss any of my goal setting or planning content here on YouTube. And until next time, guys, I will see you all later. Bye.